From our Chicago studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Samana, Siddiqui. 3 Georgia Muslim college students have accepted a $75,000 settlement from Perry Green. He is the ex-husband of far-right Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. The 3 women, who all wear hijab, were harassed while praying outside a shopping center in Alpharetta in late March. The incident occurred when the women stopped in a quiet corner of a mall's parking lot to offer prayers. A video of Greene verbally attacking them went viral, sparking widespread condemnation. Greene later issued both private and public apologies, and earlier this month visited the women's mosque during Friday prayers and directly expressed his remorse to them. The 3 students have donated the entire $75,000 settlement to their local mosque, stating they believe Greene's apology was genuine. Their attorney, Ali Awad, said the focus was on healing and education. Greene is also considering donating to a nonprofit that fights Islamophobia. In his first public appearance since leaving office, former President Joe Biden fiercely defended Social Security and slammed the Trump administration's policies. Speaking at a disability advocates conference in Chicago on Tuesday, Biden accused President Donald Trump of gutting the Social Security Administration. Quoting the agency's former commissioner, Martin O'Malley, Biden said of the Republicans, they want to wreck it so they can rob it. He argued their aim was to cut vital programs under the excuse of reducing national debt, just to fund tax breaks for billionaires and large corporations. Biden asked, why are they attacking the very system people paid into? Observers say the former president's comments signal renewed Democratic focus on defending public welfare programs ahead of the 2026 midterm elections. The State Department has scrapped grants worth $214 million, citing a move to eliminate what it claims are misguided programs. The cancellations come amid reports that the Trump administration plans to slash the State Department's budget by nearly 50%. An internal memo reported by the Washington Post suggests the Trump administration may end funding for 20 global organizations, including NATO and the UN. It will continue limited support for select agencies like the International Atomic Energy Agency and the International Civil Aviation Authority. Spokesperson Tammy Bruce dismissed the leak, saying no final budget has been released and the matter rests with the White House. However, she noted that the department is now focused on putting America first. Analysts say the proposed cuts signal a significant shift in U.S. foreign funding priorities under the Trump administration. 2 senior advisors to Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have been placed on administrative leave amid a probe into unauthorized leaks of sensitive information. Dan Caldwell and Darren Selnick are under investigation. The inquiry follows a memo signed on March 21st by Defense Department Chief of Staff Joe Casper. It calls for an immediate probe into recent leaks involving national security communications. The memo adds that polygraph tests may be used as part of the investigation. Selnick is a retired Air Force officer and Hegseth's Deputy Chief of Staff. Caldwell is a senior advisor to Hegseth. While both officials are under scrutiny, no confirmed link has been established between them and the leak. A study by Canada's Green Science Policy Institute has found that mattresses in children's bedrooms may be releasing dangerous chemicals. It found high levels of flame retardants and phthalates. These chemicals are known to disrupt hormones and damage the nervous and reproductive systems. The heat and weight of children sleeping on the mattresses were found to activate chemical plumes, filling bedrooms with invisible toxins. Experts are warning that these chemicals offer minimal fire safety benefit. Instead, they say they increase risks of cancer, learning disabilities, and attention issues in children. Researchers are calling on manufacturers and governments to act. Parents are being advised to change bed sheets frequently, avoid bright-colored bedding, and reduce clutter around sleeping areas to limit exposure. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order aimed at lowering prescription drug prices. It directs the Food and Drug Administration, or FDA, to speed up approval for importing cheaper medicines and expanding access to generics and biosimilars. A White House official says the move builds on Medicare's drug price negotiation program under the 2022 Inflation Reduction Act. Trump administration officials say the move pushes for fairer pricing across hospitals and care settings. The order also revives a discounted insulin program for low-income and uninsured individuals. However, the Commerce Department is also investigating possible tariffs on imported drugs, which could raise prices for some consumers. The Trump administration will no longer reserve a regular slot in the White House press pool for major independent news wires. These were reserved for America's oldest news agency, the Associated Press, or AP, Bloomberg News, and Reuters. The move ends a decades-long practice and has raised renewed alarm over press freedom. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt released a new set of guidelines that reallocates the slot to a rotating group of print journalists. Analysts say this will reduce daily access for the Newswire services that supply thousands of media outlets globally. The development comes amid a legal dispute between the Trump administration and the AP. The White House has barred AP reporters for the past 2 months from small-scale presidential events. This was in retaliation for the AP refusing to use the term Gulf of America instead of Gulf of Mexico, following an executive order by President Donald Trump demanding the name change. AP sued, and a federal judge recently ordered their access be restored, calling the ban unconstitutional. However, the White House has appealed the decision. Judge blocks Trump order targeting law firm. Details after the break, so stay tuned, and we'll be right back. A federal judge has frozen an executive order issued by President Donald Trump that aimed to penalize law firm Sussman Godfrey. The temporary restraining order was issued by District Judge Lauren Ali Khan. It halts the administration's move to prevent the firm from conducting business with the federal government. Judge Ali Khan called the order a shocking abuse of power, driven by what she said was Trump's personal vendetta, and praised the firm for resisting pressure. Sussman Godfrey filed a legal motion arguing that the administration's executive order was a direct attack on First Amendment rights and the Constitution's protection of legal representation. Trump's order came amid a White House campaign against law firms seen as opposing the administration. Sussman Godfrey previously represented voting software company Dominion Voting Systems. In 2020, after losing the presidential election to Joe Biden, Trump claimed, without evidence, that Dominion deleted and switched votes intended for Trump. Dominion sued Fox News for promoting this conspiracy, resulting in a $787.5 million settlement. Experts say these moves reflect a dangerous effort to intimidate legal institutions and stifle constitutional rights. Israel killed at least 25 Palestinians on Wednesday, including 10 people in a deadly airstrike on Gaza City. Among the victims was Palestinian journalist Fatima Hassouneh. She died along with 10 members of her family when Israeli warplanes targeted their home in the Tufah neighborhood. Israel has killed more than 200 journalists since October 2023. Gaza's health ministry reports that 89 more wounded were rushed to hospitals following the fresh wave of attacks. As talks of a ceasefire continue, a Hamas official insisted that any deal must include a full Israeli withdrawal from Gaza. But Israel's Defense Minister Israel Katz has declared that Israeli troops would remain indefinitely in so-called security zones within Gaza. He also said aid will be blocked, using food and supplies as pressure against Hamas. Meanwhile, the Qassam brigades reported losing contact with the unit guarding U.S.-Israeli captive Edan Alexander, believed to be in an area recently hit by Israeli strikes. Doctors Without Borders has condemned the rising civilian death toll and attacks on aid workers, calling Gaza a mass grave and accusing Israel of showing blatant disregard for humanitarian laws. According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, Israel has killed over 51,025 Palestinians since October 2023, while the media office claims it exceeds 61,700, including those missing under rubble. Israel is facing international legal pressure for its genocide in Gaza. The International Criminal Court is seeking arrest warrants for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and ex-Defense Minister Yoav Gallant. As well, the International Court of Justice is reviewing a genocide case against it. Israeli daily Haaretz reports that Israel's army has admitted to having seized cash and valuables of Palestinians detained in Gaza. Freed detainees and their lawyers say that the Israeli army did not return all the confiscated property to them. The army, however, is refusing to give details about the amount of money and items of the Palestinian detainees or the orders governing the confiscation. Haaretz says that the Israeli army's refusal to give details violates the Freedom of Information Act, which requires any public agency to allow the public to see the orders under which it operates. Tens of thousands of people have been forced to flee a camp for internally displaced persons in Sudan's North Darfur state. Reports say a worsening humanitarian crisis is emerging in Al Fashar city, the capital of North Darfur, as the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, tightens its grip. According to the International Organization of Migration, or IOM, between 60,000 and 80,000 households were displaced on Sunday and Monday. The IOM stressed that these figures are preliminary and the situation remains tense and highly fluid, with ongoing displacement and shifting dynamics on the ground. The RSF began its latest offensive despite international warnings over renewed violence. The RSF has been battling the Sudanese army for control of the country since April 2023, resulting in thousands of deaths and mass displacement. Some researchers say the death toll could be as high as 130,000. Australian researchers say rising temperatures could lead to an increase in mental disorders. A study conducted by researchers at the University of Adelaide has found the burden of mental and behavioral disorders in Australia could rise by nearly 50% by 2050. Lead author Professor Peng Bi warned the effects of climate change on mental health are only going to get worse if no action is taken. The report indicated high temperatures led to an annual loss of 8,459 disability-adjusted life years between 2003 and 2018. Muslim graves at the UK's Carpenter's Park Lawn Cemetery near Watford have been vandalised, with children's grave plaques destroyed. Local councillor Abbas Merali condemned the incident as shameful and said it caused deep anguish to grieving families. He confirmed that local police are treating it as a serious and targeted act of vandalism, with an investigation underway. Muslim funeral service Wadi Funeral Care called for better security and a full probe by Brent Council, which runs the cemetery. But the An-Nisa Society charity urged authorities to call the incident an Islamophobic hate crime, not mere vandalism. They criticized officials for consistently downplaying anti-Muslim abuse in Brent and Harrow. Secretary General of the Muslim Council of Britain, Zahra Muhammad, called the attack vile and demanded justice for the affected families. That's all from our Chicago studios tonight. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. Please donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.